That's bench runner penalty, Highlanders, 2 minutes.
everybody, and welcome to the final game of the high school hockey regular season 2024-2025 NBI AA High School Boys Hockey Matchup. Tonight's contest features the visiting Bernice MacNaughton Highlanders and your Moncton High School Purple Knights. Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask that if you could please rise, please remove all your caps and hats, and join us for the playing of our national anthem.
And here we are all set. It's the last regular season game of the entire league, and it's the Bernice MacNaughton Highlanders and the Moncton High School Purple Knights. Playoffs starting tomorrow night. The Highlanders taking on the Royals, and the Purple Knights are off to the fourplex to face off against the Trojans. Highlanders, last couple of games, they've taken down Trimble twice and have lost to Moncton High. And Moncton High, on the other hand, they've won 2 out of their last 3, beating Tantramar and Bernice MacNaughton in their most recent game, taking a loss to Tantramar, and puck drop coming in at 9:02, the latest game start we've ever had so far this year. Purple Knights try to clear it out. That one disrupted by Owen McCluskey. Beal trying to find the blue line, stepping in this Tran, trying to pass that one off over Connor Keenan. Keenan trying to backhand that out in front. It's Beal slipping before he can take possession. Goulet laying up a hit on Keenan down in the boards. Brandon Warner against the boards. Waits, sends it along the boards, blocked by Tran, and flipped back out by Beal. It's Daigle that clears it into the zone of the Highlanders. Now giving him a chance for the Purple Knights to make some changes. Vale out in the zone, Waits, looks, shoots towards the net. That one denied and covered by Mason Louie. The freshman, who is the starting goalie for Bernice MacNaughton tonight in net for Moncton High, is number 29, Rylan Abair. And only lineup changes in the game is for BMHS. Stepping into the lineup is affiliate player number 20, Jake Osborne. Another quick shot denied. Bernice MacNaughton may have a rush. Here's Thomas on a break, being chased by Harris, and he successfully strips him of the puck and takes him out into the corner. Saunders flips it in at the blue line. Man, leaving it off for Thomas, trying to find that in his feet. Curled back along the boards. Skating out here is Gillis, being bumped by Nate Mann. Saunders waits, curls back. He hits Thomas, who lays that off for Mann, and that pass just too far out in front of him. Woods behind the net. Clear around, trying to get one over for Curvin. Still blocked in. Gillis giving it right over to Mann, who shoots. That one's blocked by Thomas out in front. Looking like the back waist area. Harris passing up for Vale. Vale moves in across center and clears it in on Louie. He redirects that into the corner for Gadet. Along the boards for Bishop. That it went between his legs. Here's Cole trying to pick it up. Evades Miller, and Vale finds it once more. Puts it into the zone. Tracy, his first shift on. He's hit by Gadet going into the corner. Morrison, pass up. Doesn't hit his target. This one not going to go for an icing. Goulet going into Miller behind the net. Goulet almost turning it over and kicking it back to his feet. Goulet trying to move out the zone. Upended by Morrison. Tracy retreats and curls back before laying a pass. That was a bit hard over to Zach Biani. Miller intercepting. Pass through center. Knocked down by Reed Cole at the red line and shot in. Purple Knights starting a couple dump-ins so far to start this game. Miller leaving it off for Holston. Passed up, it's brought out by Liam Bishop. Bishop work past one. Now it's against Woods. Liam Bishop and unable to complete the dangles. He was denied by Obey there, not Easton Woods. Faceoff goes to the right of Ryan Bear. Won by the Highlanders. That one goes in the feet of Constable. Chasing him was Beal. It's Murray across for Harris in the right corner. Banked up. Tried to get one over for Brandon Warner. Cleared all the way down again. Not going to go for an ice. Constable up against Daigle. It's Daigle that swings it in, takes the puck, deflects it away into the corner for Beal. Daigle trying to work it up to the blue line. There's Murray, attempted shot. That one didn't get all the way through. Beal behind that being chased. It's right out in front, loose right next to Louis before it was taken behind the net. A scare on the first chance. It didn't look like anyone knew where it was. Osborne trying to find him behind the net. It's Beal in the corner. Up for Murray. Left point. Shooting. Scores! Brennan Murray gets his first of the year and his first of the game. And he starts this one off for Moncton High. And that's going to be Brendan Murray's first point of the year at that. Taking a shot from the blue line. And it's off the post and in from Louis, looking like there had been a bit of traffic out in front. It's 1-0. Purple Knights in this game. Goulet skates back towards center. Pass tipped and taken away by Owen McCluskey. McCluskey bringing it in with a shot. And that one in the chest of a Bear.
Assisted by number 25, Brandon Warner, and number 8, Alex Beal. Time of the goal.
So getting that goal called out, it's Murray from Warner and Beal at 16:29. And games happening elsewhere out in the province in high school hockey. The LJR Patriots are up 3-1 on Matthew Martin in their best of 5 series. That series currently tied at 1. And LJR up 3-1. Gillis around at his hash marks, being pressured by Keenan. Had successfully gone by him. It's Obey trying to center out to the middle. That one out of the reach of Curb, and it's Saunders flipping into the Moncton High zone. Goulet banking it off the boards. Highlanders almost sustaining pressure. Here's Gillis. May see a man, Biani off the bench. Biani against Gadet. Hits on the brakes, and it's Gadet defending it away with his body. Tran put down deeper into the zone. Gadet off the glass. It's Woods. Sending out of the zone. Keenan sends it back, and that one's touched up by McCluskey. And we'll go for icing. Purple Knights bringing it out of the zone with speed. Tracy trying to work his way in, and he was upended by a man who was watching closely, Caleb Thomas. Working his way up on Woods with a shot, banked off the boards, covered by a Bear. And the DNA Swag Cup starting tomorrow for both of these teams. It first starts off with Moncton High at Harrison Trimble at 7:45. That one going at the fourplex. And it's a one-game take-all in the DNA Swag Cup for round 1. It's Biani going back for Woods. One-touch pass for Harris. Across, trying to see Cole, and that one under his tape, and we'll go for icing. And Moncton High's last game versus Trimble saw them in a 4-3 overtime victory at the fourplex. And it was that rink D with Zach Bayani getting all 4 goals in that game. Hopefully some momentum off of that game can carry them into tomorrow's matchup. Thomas across trying to get them over Constable. That one taken away by Harris. Now in the feet of Man. Pressuring him. Tracy up to the blue line. It's Thomas with a shot, and that one's just wide right. Schwanier going up against Bayani. Bayani gives him a bit of a bump. Reed Cole in the middle. Shot on. Redirected into the corner. Constable picks it up for the Highlanders and makes his way behind his own cage. Constable trying to scan the play. Sees Miller. Miller backhanded to the middle. Beal. Stick check by Constable going back into his end. Constable passing up. Working his way in was Thomas before shooting it on a Bear with some force behind it. Knights make their way out of the zone. A rink-wide pass for Beal. Sent back rink wide. Brandon Warner just losing his feet. Turn around. Here's Beal, backhander, and just missing wide. If he had had it on his forehand, would have been a much more dangerous chance. Pass trying to go, cut through the middle. That one poked away by Goulet and cleared in by Daigle. Highlanders regroup in their own zone. It's good at sending it along the boards. Here's Beal waiting. And we have an injured Highlander out in the corner. It was a hit from Brandon Warner. And there wasn't a penalty call originally, although he skates into the box. So it's a 4-minute kneeing call, kneeing an automatic 4 minutes. And Wanch right out in the corner. Yeah, look. To just get his knee out, and Brandon Warner now getting back-to-back kneeing penalties. He had one in the last game versus Tantramar. So the Highlanders off to a 4-minute double minor power play. Constable for Thomas. Accelerating through center. Thomas enters in along the line. Fires. Denied by the blocker of a Bear. Thomas with his own rebound. Skates up. Trying to go backdoor over for Miller. He receives it off the boards. Trying to send it to the middle. That one's tipped away by Goulet. Man. Top of the line. Waits. Sends it back up for Constable. Heads to the center with a shot. Redirected. Saved. Rebound. And covered by Ryland. A Bear. Multiple chances for the Highlanders. And the Bear has come up strong. Brandon Warner still up in the box for over 3 minutes. A small part of the penalty killed off so far. Here's Thomas. Right boards, sent across. Constable waits, goes back door. Miller one-timer. The shot turned away by a Bear. What a save. Did not get all of it. Was Draven Miller waiting. Back door. Shot from Thomas denied by the blocker. Man out in the corner. Skates up. Sharp angle shot to make it all the way through. Thrown out in front. Here's Tracy with it. Leaving it up for Bayani. Trying to make his way by Constable. He keeps it in the zone. That's Thomas rather keeping it in the zone. Continuing the pressure. Nate Mann working his way behind the cage. There's Harris. Chasing on it with speed. Taken away by Draven Miller. Waits at the ringette line. Sends a cross-ice pass. That one to nobody. Obey gonna have a chance to clear. Another keep. This time it's by Nate Mann. Bayani working on it again to clear it out of the zone. It's Constable. Recouping behind his own net. Skates up with speed. Passes over for McCluskey. McCluskey steps in with a shot. And that one's deflected off the glove of the Bear. Behind the net. Constable waits. Right behind him is Harris. Goes up to the blue line. Back for McCluskey. McCluskey at the line. Puts it behind the net. There's Harris going to go battling up with Keenan. Connor Keenan thrown it for one-timer. They score! And they scored exactly 2 minutes, so Brandon Warner's out of the box. And the Highlanders have tied this one up on the man advantage. It's Ben Constable waiting right out in the slot. So we now see ourselves with a tied hockey game. And an update from earlier, the LJR, they have defeated Matthew Martin 3-1 to take a 2-1 series lead and now have Matthew Martin on their heels. Curvin to Vale. Poked loose, Curvin with another shot, turned away, rebound, Gillis trying to go upstairs and couldn't quite get a hold of it. Gillis out in front, Curvin trying a one-timer, that didn't get all the way through. Murray down for Gillis on the corner, throw it out in front, trying to get that one over for Curvin. Skating it out is Keenan, poking it by Harris. It's Murray, sending it off the boards. Vale, seeing Gillis out in the middle. Ryan Gillis stepping in, curling back, throwing it behind the net. Here's Harris rushing behind the net. Saunders up with Vale, trying to leave that off for McCluskey. In Biney with a shot, and that one blocked before it could get there. There's Gills with a shot off the post. The rebound, they score! It's George Vale on the rebound, and the Purple Knights go up by a score of 2-1 with the original shot from Ryan Gillis nearing the blue line. It went off the post and in behind Mason Louie. And that last Highlander goal, it's Constable from Keenan and Chouanier at 11:32, and at 10:34, Vale is going to get the Purple Knights back in the lead. Moving up with speed, Liam Bishop curls around Obe. Liam Bishop in alone, the shot, he scores! And this game is tied up once again, just 12 seconds later. Liam Bishop found the puck in the center with speed and went up that right side. Lucas Obe with no chance to catch up. So that Moncton High goal, it's Vale from Gillis. And the Highlanders, it's Bishop again. There's Miller with a shot that had deflected up and out of play. It's going to be Bishop from Miller at 10:22, so that's 14 seconds later. From the George Vale goal.
24, Draven Miller. Time of the goal, 10 minutes. 22 seconds of the first period.
And that is Bishop's 15th of the season, tying Nate Mann in second place. Miller currently holds that lead, and here he is almost with a shot again. Speeding back, it was Biani against Holston. Biani behind the net, waiting out in front, trying to get one over for Cole. Biani trying to flip that one down for Cole. Taken away and speeding up is Constable. Constable into the zone, looking for Bishop out in front. Waits, throws it out in front. There's Miller with a shot and just lifted it right of the net. Constable behind the net. Miller throwing that out in front with a backhand. Only one there is Harris of the Purple Knights. Harris, pass right to the tape of Daigle through center. Daigle waits, looks for his options, goes to Beal, and that one just through his legs. Daigle, who was hammered right after he had given away the puck. Man, working his way through center. Poked away by Daigle. Highlanders worked their way back in. A misplaced pass will not result in an icing. Woods around the boards. Brandon Warner missing it at his feet. There's Vale sending it along the boards, trying to go for Brandon Warner, coming up with speed. Poked away by Constable. There was Beal. Almost had a stick on it. Vale right out in the blue line, shooting it over the net of Louie. Saunders up against Brandon Warner. And it's Brandon Warner that ends up falling down. Chouanier was up against Woods. Cleared back in by the Purple Knights. Here's Mann in his own zone. Accelerating. Making his way through center. Nate Mann in past Gillis with the shot turned away by Rylan Abair. Gillis whacks it out through center. Saunders skates back, waits in his own zone, passes it up against the boards. No one there to receive it. Harris works his way in past Chouanier. Fake going into the zone, then passes back to his D partner, Easton Woods. Woods, rink wide for Gillis. One touch pass to the middle. It's Vale with a one-timer dump in. They'll be turned away by the pad of Mason Louie. Purple Knights still with it. There's a sharp angle shot turned away by Louie.
50 tickets. It's time to get them out. The winning ticket that we are looking for is 10.
So an incredibly tight game. So far 2-2. Goals going back and forth, starting with Moncton High. Then Bernice MacNaughton, then repeating again. Obe, blue line, waits and shoots. That one blocked away by Connor Keenan. Tracy to the blue line, Goulet. Goulet waits, back for Tracy. Tracy down by Annie, thrown out in front. There was Cole trying to get a whack at it. Tracy out in the corner. Moves his way smoothly, then cuts back. That's by Annie rather than Tracy. Behind the net is Cole. Waiting, there's a sharp angle shot that never hit the net. Highlanders skated out of their zone. It's Keenan working his way up, trying to get through Tracy. Keenan in the corner against Obe. Keenan putting it through the legs of Lucas Obe. There's Tracy putting it back in the corner where they were just battling. Tran hit up against the boards. Keenan behind the net, throwing that out, treading the one from front, deflected by Tracy. Flipped out, gloved. McCluskey skates in and is poked by Bayani. There's Cole. Was looking for Bayani. Then skates through center. Cole works in and fires. It will go to the side of the net. Ref's not going to whistle it. Highlanders hit it off the net and work their way back into the zone. Hammered off the glass. Back for Murray. Murray being pressured by Tran. Passing it up to Harris, who sees Gillis. Gillis pass right through traffic for Vale. Poked back by Constable for a Highlander who was just getting on the ice. Stebbin working his way up. Here's Constable on Murray. Murray steers him way out in the corner. Could have been an odd man rush. Behind the net is Harris. Carried along the boards. Shot back in by Gadet. Harris behind the net. Back along the boards. Takes a weird hop. Intercepted by Osborne. Thrown to the middle. That one hit off the skate of a Purple Knight and right over for Curvin, who flips it high and into the zone. Out in the corner. It's whacked away by Thomas Keenan. There's Vale. Sending up to the blue line. Across. Harris waits and shoots. That one hit off. Looked like a shin pad of a Highlander defenseman. Curling back and throwing it back into the zone is Gillis. Behind the net. Gadet. Saunders there as well as Vale of the Purple Knights. Osborne in the battle. Vale sending that out in front. No one there to tuck it home. Cole shot from the blue line. Scores! Reed Cole taking an unsuspecting shot from the blue line. And tons of traffic and no chance for Mason Louis to see that one all the way through. And it's back to a Moncton High lead. This one will be Reed Cole getting the goal. Still waiting to see the assist. It looks like it's going to be from Vale. And it looks like that's it. So it's Cole from Vale at 5:29 of this first period. Tracy in the corner, stepping up towards the ringette line, cutting to the center. Tracy waiting, maneuvering around Bishop. The shot gloved by Mason Louis, flashing the leather. Bishop quickly takes it and zooms with it across in the draw. Bishop in along Goulet, skates by him, throws it out in front of the shot, they score! It's Chase Morrison that ties this game up once more. And that's gonna be Morrison's first in the NBIAA. Getting it the final game of the season with exactly 5 to go. That's Morrison from Bishop at 5 minutes, exactly 29 seconds after Cole had taken the lead again. So this one's bound to be a high-scoring game, as it was the last time. The second last time, rather, these two teams are here. It ended up 16-7 in favor of Moncton High. Beal stepping in on Holston. Beal steps his way into the corner, loose for Daigle, trying to tuck it in on the side of the net. Where is it? It's behind the net. Still Daigle with it, throwing that out in front, trying to get one for Brandon Warner. Stepping out is Draven Miller. He goes up against Woods. Now going for Harris, drop pass. Bishop with a shot, turned away by a bear and smothered. That one rimmed along the boards and out of the reach of Kerwin. Skating back for it is Saunders. This one not going to be icing it. Saunders out in the corner, waiting. Rimmed along the boards past Gillis. Man, turning it over. Here's Gillis. Throwing it down in the corner against Gaudette. Gillis and Gaudette still battling for it in his feet. Behind the net is Kerwin. Waiting, fanning on a pass, getting stick lifted before it's taken away by Saunders and passed up for Mann. Mann leaves it off for Schwanier. Thrown out, trying to get that one over for Thomas. Thomas and Woods go up, battling out in the corner. Thomas out victorious. Thomas trying to send that one cross ice for Saunders nearing the blue line. Deflected out and back into the Highlander zone. Saunders waits, throws it up against the board, trying to get over for Mann. Mann for Schwanier, taken away by Harris. Sent across, Easton Woods. Pass up in the center. Biney trying to send that one over for Tracy. That's going to hit a skate of Schwanier. And a good heads-up play. It's Owen McCluskey not going on the ice, avoiding a too many men penalty. A shot from Biney over the net. Cole trying to pounce on a rebound. It's backhanded by Gaudette. Off the boards for Connor Keenan rather. Harris passing that one up for Cole. Set to the middle. In all alone, Biney scores! A perfect link up from Cole to Biani. And the Purple Knights are up again. So it's Biani getting his first of the game. That one's going to be from Reed Cole for certain, and maybe a secondary assist. We'll have to see. Holston passing up for Tran. He's almost bulldozed by Brandon Warner. Warner throwing it in. Holston. Brindle on the boards. Owen McCluskey. Holston again. Back from McCluskey. Daigle in an attempt to pin him up against the boards. Daigle finding a loose puck, trying to curl to the middle. Daigle hitting the brakes. Thrown out. No one there. Though it's taken back by the Highlanders. Connor Keenan in the middle. That one deflected off the stick of Tran. Showing off a couple moves is Goulet before threading the needle and throwing one right over for Beal. Beal had stepped into the zone and rimmed it behind the net. Holston with Brandon Warner. Behind being the trailer is Daigle. Daigle trying to move his way to the middle. He's hit off by Thomas Keenan. Kept in by Obey. And it's off of Connor Keenan. Keenan stepping up against Goulet. And Goulet plays defense successfully and almost turns it over again. There's Tran picking up a loose puck where he's crunched by Goulet out in the corner. Gillis moves it outside the line of the Purple Knights. Gillis steps in, evades a hit of Thomas Keenan. Gillis behind the net, throwing that out in front. There's Kerwin with a shot denied by Louis. Kerwin steals, throws it out. Harris from the blue line with a shot that just redirects out wide of the net. Kerwin for Murray. Back for Kerwin, trying to show off some moves where he's hit off by Constable. Kerwin still with the puck. Thomas Keenan swinging it in, picking it up. Minute and a half here. Bishop against Harris. Bishop stepping in between the legs, and now is steered away into the corner by Harris using his body. Harris steps up. Trying to cut to the left, trying to throw it back door. The tempted shot from Biani and was ever just so out of his reach. Morrison moving his way outside to center. Bishop clears it in as we approach the last minute of play in period one. Morrison stepping behind his net with pressure from Murray. Then on the boards, Liam Bishop thrown it in front. No one there. Constable kept in, redirected by Tracy. Side of the net, loose puck. There's Bishop throwing it in front, and that one's gloved by a Bear. And we'll go for a stoppage. It's 4-3, Moncton High. As we get to the last minute of play, and currently 47 watching live on this late Sunday night. Biani speeds past Olston. Stepping up on Constable as Cole with him. Sends it to Cole, and just the pass getting there just too late. Cole sending it wide of the net. Caleb Thomas in the corner. Trying to throw that up against the glass. Out to center. Murray trying to send that one all along the boards, being hounded by Mann. Mann turns over the puck, gets it himself, cross back door. And Thomas just not getting enough on that one. Thomas stepping to the blue line. Holston waits. Throws it back door, trying to get that one over for Schwanier, and they might run out of time here. Thomas needs a shot, goes to the blue line. Gadet waiting and not going to get a shot off. And that is going to end the period. It's 4-3 in favor of the Moncton High Pearl Knights. Those goals coming from Murray, Vale, Cole, and Biani. We'll see you back for 10 minutes for period 2. We hope to see you there. Keenan trying to backhand that out in front. It's Beal slipping before he can take possession. Goulet laying up a hit. Daigle that clears it into the zone of the Highlanders. Now giving him a chance for the Pearl Knights to make some changes. Vale out in the zone, waits, looks, shoots towards the net. Number 20, Jake Osborne. Another quick shot denied. Bernice MacNaughton may have a rush. Here's Thomas on a break, being chased by Harris. Too far out in front of him. Woods behind the net. Clear around, trying to get one over for Curvin. Still blocked in. Gillis giving it right over to Mann, who shoots. That one's blocked by Tom. Daigle trying to work it up to the blue line. There's Murray, attempted shot. That one didn't get all the way through. Beal behind that, being chased. It's right out in front, loose right now. Didn't look like anyone knew where it was. Osborne trying to find him behind the net. It's Beal out in the corner. Up for Murray. Left point. Shooting. Score! Nothing. Purple Knights in this game. Goulet skates back towards center. Pass tipped and taken away by Owen McCluskey. McCluskey bringing it in with a shot, and that one in it. Knights make their way out of the zone. A rink-wide pass for Beal. Sent back rink-wide. Brandon Warner just losing his feet. Turn around. Here's Beal, backhander, and just missed. Chance pass, trying to go, cut through the middle. That one poked away by Goulet and cleared in by Daigle. Highlanders regroup in their own zone. It's good at sending it along the boards. Here's Beal waiting. Constable for Thomas. Accelerating through center. Thomas enters in along the line. Fires to the line. Waits. Sends it back up for Constable. Heads to the center with a shot. Redirected. Saved. Rebound. Killed off so far. Here's Thomas. Right boards. Sent across. Constable waits. Goes back door. Miller one-timer to the blue line. Back for McCluskey. McCluskey at the line. Puts it behind the net. There's Harris going to go battling up with Keenan. Connor Keenan thrown it for one-timer. They on their heels. Curvin to Vale. Poked loose. Curvin with another shot. Turned away. Rebound. Gillis trying to throwing it behind the net. Here's Harris rushing behind the net. Saunders up with Vale. Trying to leave that off for McCluskey. In Biney with a shot. And that one blocked before he could get there. There's Gillis with a shot. Up with Vale. Trying to leave that off for McCluskey. In Biney with a shot. And that one blocked before he could get there. There's Gillis with a shot off the post. The rebound. They score. Vale is going to get the Purple Knights back in the lead. Moving up with speed, Liam Bishop curls around Ove. Liam Bishop in alone. The shot, he's scored. Moncton High goal. It's Vale from Gillis. And the Highlanders, it's Bishop again. There's Miller with a shot that it deflected up, accelerating, making his way through center. Nate Mann in past Gillis with the shot turned away by Ryland Obey. One-timer dump in. They'll be turned away by the pad of Mason Louie. Purple Knights still with it. There's a sharp angle shot turned away by Thomas Keenan. There's Vale sending up to the blue line. Across, Harris waits and shoots. That one hit off Vale of the Purple Knights. Osborne in the battle. Vale sending that one in front. No one there to tuck it home. Cole shot from the blue line. Score of this first period. Tracy in the corner, stepping up towards the ringette line, cutting to the center. Tracy waiting, maneuvering around Bishop. The shot gloved by Bishop. Quickly takes it and zooms with it across in the draw. Bishop in along Goulet, skates by him, throws it out in front. The shot, they skipping out is Draven Miller. He goes up against Woods. Now going for Harris, drop pass. Bishop with the shot turned away, Keenan rather. Harris passing that one up for Cole, sent to the middle, in all alone, Biney, score! And Goulet plays defense successfully and almost turns it over. Again, there's Tran picking up a loose puck where he's Gillis. Moves it outside the line of the Purple Knights. Gillis steps in, evades a hit of Thomas Keenan. Gillis behind the net, throwing that out in front. There's Kerman with it. And currently 47 watching live on this late Sunday night. Biani speeds past Olston. Stepping up on Constable as Cole with him. Sends it to Cole and just And we're moving our way into period 2. And an update on that last Zach Bianni goal. An assist has been given to Campbell Harris. So he jumps on the board and gets his first point of the night. And our shots on goal after period 1, they're as tight as the score. It's a difference of 1. The Purple Knights are up by a score of 14-13. And first line on for each team: Bianni, Tracy, Cole, Bishop, Miller, Morrison, who recently got his first goal of high school, and that one coming 29 seconds after Vale scored for Moncton High. And some puddles still remain on the ice. Going to be another obstacle for these two teams. Holston with a shot, ended up wide. Hit off the side of the net. It's Obey. Back up for Holston. Holston waits. Clears it down around the corner. It's Morrison. Up for Bishop. Down around Goulet. Being pressured by Miller. Sent up to Bianni along the right. Left off for Tracy. Had almost lost in a puddle. Cole on the left. Waiting. Shooting. Now we're just getting through. Bianni with an attempt. That's Tracy rather with an attempt out of Michigan. Unsuccessful in that. Miller had winded up for a slap shot. Lost it in a puddle. Bishop battling up in the corner with Goulet. Passing to the middle. Beal. That was Curvin rather for Vale. Shot on, it's in the corner. Curvin out in the corner trying to find his way between his feet. It's Holston ending up with the puck. Poke checked off. Curvin. Hash marks to the top. Harris waits, shoots. Blocked by the blocker of Louis. And the rebound is out for Caleb Thomas. Swooping in and picking that one up. Thomas losing it in a puddle. Vale passing out, trying to get that one up for Curvin. Kept in by Harris. Curvin in at the blue line. Backhanded down into the shin pads of Thomas, who again lost it in a puddle. And it flipped out of play right into the seats by Curvin. And that one going into row D. So just under 2 minutes have been played so far in the second period. If it's the same as the first, the goals will be coming. Harris, one touch pass over for Vale. It's Saunders. Sending it out into the middle, along on the right side. Only one there is Woods trying to poke it in. Didn't get much of it. It's Caleb Thomas working his way back up against Woods. Thomas in, shooting, denied by a Bear. Man, waiting out in the corner. Up for Saunders. Banked up along against the boards. Behind the net is Thomas. Thomas waits. In the corner he goes. Scans through his options in the right face-off circle. His pass ends up off a Purple Knight skate and down the ice surface. Good at skating behind his net. Pass up for Thomas. Here's Mann. Receiving the pass. Right into the middle of the shot. Scores! Bar down from about the ringette line. And that one's an absolute howitzer. So the Highlanders have tied this one up early in the second period. And what a shot that one was from Captain Nate Mann. And if you're a goaltender there, there's almost no chance in stopping that one. Obey left off for Bianni, skating down in his own zone. Around his cage it will go for Reed Cole, lifting the stick of Connor Keenan out for Constable. Constable stepping in, has Owen McCluskey on his left. Constable working in, shooting, and that one's deflected up above the net.
29 seconds of the second period.
in the draw. Constable winding his way in along the left, trying to throw that in front. Banked off the skate of Tracy. Another try backdoor. The shot denied by a Bear. Bishop had thought he had him beat, and a Bear just gets there in time. Tran unsuccessful on the draw, rimmed around Bayani. Sends it cross ice, Goulet. Obey in the center. Pass that knocked off of something and gone into the Bernice MacNaughton zone. Cole in a race with the cadet, side of the net, and a save from Louis. Definitely didn't look like he expected a shot on that one. Don't believe anyone did. Tracy going across the boards. There's Keenan stepping in. Tracy left for Bayani. Along the right, Bayani works his way in, tries to extend to the middle, and that one's blocked off the skate of Constable. Constable step back up. Pass that had banked off the boards, taking a weird hop that goes over Harris. Stepping in, Mo McCluskey on the side of the net, and he puts the puck to the side of it. There's Harris whacking the net to get it free. Trying to spring Cole. Ends up banking over to Constable. Pass through center. Working his way through was Duguay. Gadet almost being left off for Warner. No one going for the puck. There's Duguay. Stepping through the middle. Loose puck taken by Daigle. Daigle stepping across the red line into the zone. Being hit by Osborne. One-timer. Brandon Warner didn't get much of a stick on it. Osborne stepping out in the corner. Being hit by Daigle and turning over the puck. Harris a quick shot. He had tons of pressure around him. Beal battling with Duguay. Duguay out of the zone, speeding up his Thomas Keenan. Keenan stepping in with a shot, and that deflected off of Harrison over the net. Osborne kept in, trying to get that one over for Keenan. Harris along the boards. There's Beal playing for Harris. That went right through Thomas Keenan. Vale. Harris now Curvin stepping in with a shot, and that one just misses the cage. Harris, side of the net. Curvin trying to throw that one out in front. His intended target being Vale. Pass out of the zone. Duguay stepping up. Had lost it doing his dangle. Pass up from Constable. Stepping in all alone. It's Miller evading a hit. Miller in. Backhander just misses the net. He had both Harris and Vale right on his tail. Curvin out to center. Bishop waits, goes back in his zone. Bishop winding it with speed. Taken away by Curvin. Curvin stepping in, taken away by Gadet. Attempted clear, blocked by Vale, sending a backhander to the middle. That one taken away by Morrison. Out for Goulet. Goulet stepping in, almost stolen by Miller. Would have been another potential breakaway. Bishop here on the right. Winds his way in. Drop pass. Miller winds up and blocked by the skate of Bishop. Another shot from Morrison, and that one blocked away by a Bear. Almost his second of the game and career. Obey. Muscles out. Bishop sends one over to Bayani. Has Reed Cole in the middle trying to get it to him. And this one delayed icing. And it's just going to go Reed Cole. Just about a step behind. Face-off had gone to the right of a Bear. Stepping up is Tracy. Working his way past Miller. Tracy still stepping out at speed. Drop past Bayani. Losing the puck, but regaining it back. Down for Tracy. Bayani one-timer scores! Bayani goal number 2 of the game. And puts the Purple Knights back in the lead. A perfect give and go from Bayani and Tracy. Them two linking up all season, being on that same line. And it's now a 5-4 lead in favor of Moncton High. Constable trying to step in past Harris. Delayed offside for the Highlanders. Here's Cole stretching across for Bayani. His pass by Holston. Bayani trying to step in. It's Holston getting a backhander over for Thomas. Thomas leaving off for Mann. Mann stepping in. Don't let him shoot. Man stepping in, couldn't get a shot off. There's another shot saved by a Bear, but we're going to have a hooking call, it looks like, coming up against Max Tracy.
13 minutes, 40 seconds of the second period.
And it is Max Tracy heading to the box for a hook, potentially saving a goal, but a scoring chance ends up in the wrong box. So a Bernice MacNaughton power play to follow. They are 1 for 2 so far, scoring 1 goal on the double minor to Brandon Warner early in this game. Constable stepping in, waits, goes across. Weaving his way was Thomas, goes back for Constable in the middle. Miller, backdoor waits and shoots, scores! Had somehow found its way by a Bear, and the Highlanders tied up again on the man advantage. This game really just going back and forth. So the goal is from Draven Miller. We'll see who gets the assist. Brandon Warner stepping in. It's Holston clearing it out to center. Caleb Thomas almost poked away by Daigle. There's Beal, who is crunched by Constable, losing his stick. Moving his way in, his man trying to get a shot off and fanned on it. So it's Miller from Thomas and Constable at 12:58. Loose out in front, waiting for it is Schwanier, and that one covered up by a Bear. And if you're just tuning in, 10 goals so far in this game, split amongst the two teams. It started from Murray, then Constable, then Vale, Bishop, Cole, Morrison with his first, and Biani leaving off that first period at 4-3, and it's been all back and forth since. Biani, or it's rather it's an 8-man starting off this period. Biani getting the lead again, and Miller tying it up just recently within the last minute. Cole keeps it in, has Biani poked away by an 8-man. Cole looking out in front. That almost took a bad hop on Louis. Tracy keeps it in. Biani waiting in the corner, looking in front for Cole, and that one's tipped off his stick and went high up in the air. Constable waiting to leave his zone. Passing out, that was blocked by Tracy. Highlanders still trying to regather possession. Thomas sent across, that one taken away by Cole. Cole backhanded in, past Constable. He was stick lifted by Biani, works his way right over the center ice dot. Left back for Woods, sent across. One touch pass attempt by Cole. That tried to get that over for Tracy. Backhanded back in by Bernice MacNaughton. It's still a 5-5 game. These two teams going back and forth all night. Knights win the draw. Gillis, that pass not enough to go up to the line. Woods going back and blocking the rush. Sending one right for Curvin. Tate to tape. Curvin pass to the middle, trying to get that one over for George Vale. Curvin out in the corner. Pinned up against the boards by Constable. Vale almost gathering it through traffic. Constable rimmed around the boards. Harris slides to the middle. Across for Easton Woods. Woods waits, shoots, gloved by Louis. Curvin shooting, glove down, and will be taken out by Saunders. Saunders through center, waits, trying to leave that one off for McCluskey. McCluskey sent out, moving his back is Curvin of the Purple Knights. Curvin working in, moving off Tran, rebound, Vale walking with a slap shot over the net. Gillis rebound, turned away and covered by Louis. Gillis wishing he got more of that, a bouncy puck, a very hard type of shot to create out of that. And again, it was another chance for Moncton High Purple Knights, they look to go back in the lead and continue the pattern that has been going on all night. Daigle attempting to throw that out in front for Warner. Daigle along the boards. Goulet waits, shoots, and patted away by Louis. Banked on the boards. Obey with a shot. That one gonna get over for Beal. Beal turns around, goes across for Goulet. Goulet trying to keep possession. Left off for Daigle. Daigle trying to find it in his feet. Curled around and sent for Saunders. Saunders, Miller along the left. Draven Miller stepping in, waits, tries to toe drag around. Was it? That's Obey. It's lost in his feet. Miller with a shot that ended up just going over the crossbar along the right side. Shot from the blue line from Saunders, but he had dragged it outside the zone. And we get through the midway point of this game starting. Puck drop at 9:02. Taking 54 minutes to get half of this game. Bishop off the draw, stepping in, shooting, and that one eyed all the way by a Bear. And he will make the glove grab. Tracy winning the draw. Murray trying to go on the boards. Shot back in by Chouanier. Thomas moving his way in with a shot. That one blocked by Harris. Gathering his own rebound towards the blue line. Thomas, Constable back for Thomas at the line. Down for Constable. Moving in with a shot. And that one blocked. It looked like it had been Harris out in front. Banked on the boards. Cole and Thomas in a foot race. It's Cole winning it so far with possession. It's Thomas that out-muscles him off for possession. Caramel on the boards outside for Tracy. Tracy waits at the center, then goes over to Harris on the right. Stepping in on the line, hitting the brakes, left off for Cole. Tracy in the middle with some room to the middle. Backdoor by Annie and denied by Louis. Seeing that play all the way. And a beautiful play from Max Tracy with the pass. It looked like he had a wide open shot if he had decided to. There's Cole with a shot, scores! And Reed Cole sniping it with some surgical precision to go to the top left corner. And Moncton High again has this lead. They've never been trailing in this game. There's Reed Cole notching his second of this late night, his first one coming at 5:29 in the first and at 9:10 in the second. Captain Cole gets us back on the board. Rindle on the boards. It's Harris going up against McCluskey. Funneled back in for Vale. Rimmed around, that one stopped by Gillis. He kicks it to his stick. Gillis working his way through, sent across for Curvin. Curvin trying to step his way in, backhander. That one not hitting the cage. Keenan pass taken away by Vale. His shot missing the mark. Curvin making a nice move, sent to the middle. And that one taken away by Saunders and flipped out of play. And faceoff will go back into the Highlanders zone. No delay a game in high school. Luckily for Saunders, they are flipping it over the glass. The last goal at 9:10, it's Cole from Tracy. And Moncton High goes back up 6-5. Curvin waits, tries a shot. It's Obey trying to cross it in at the blue line. Puck being poked all around. Miller with Bishop. Here's Bishop all alone, the shot, and he is rejected by a Bear. Bishop, Morrison shooting, denied by a Bear and cleared out by the Purple Knights. And this one will not have enough for icing, so a chance for Moncton High to get some fresh bodies on the ice. Saunders pass through center. Failing to pick up the pass is Bishop and falling down in the offensive zone. Here's Vale. Well, that's Beal rather working his way through center. A shot and rejected by the pad of Louis out in the net. Beal trying to poke that back for Warner. Morrison tried to stretch a man. And a pass had been poked. It's back for Miller. Miller stepping in. Here's Gadet. Stopping. Being body checked by Obey. Loose out in front. Thomas with a shot. And again, another save from a Bear. And we'll quickly flash you back to the Liam Bishop try. He had been all alone on a perfectly played 2-on-1. And Ryland Abair comes up strong in the Moncton High net. Holston sent down. Out in front, Thomas waits. Tries to curl around Daigle. Goes back up for Holston. Shot. That one missing the mark by a good bit. Rimmed around man. Taken by Harris behind the net. Poked loose. Harris hits up his man. Man side of the net. Shot denied by the pad of Abair. And another shot. And that one just misses. Warner across for Beal. Sent to Daigle. Daigle trying to make some nice moves to get out of the zone. That one's kept back in by Constable. Goulet for Woods. His pass deflected going through the center. Beal tried to poke it by. And intercepting it was Constable. Right at the line, it's man. Having no choice but to shoot it in. Woods, a pass off the skate of Brandon Warner. Up for Tracy at the red line. Sent across. Cole will pick it up off the boards. Have a shot. That one to be taken away by the glove side of Louis. Cole waits in the corner. Looks. Backdoor. Bryony with the one-timer and didn't get any of it. Bryony stepping his way to the middle. Bryony behind the net. Has some options up to the blue line. He goes for Woods. Woods sent across. Harris waits. Fires. Deflected. And saved by Louis. That had been right next to his pad. He was unsure it was there. Knights off the draw. Tracy, Obey, shooting, and just missing. Reed Cole was looking to deflect it between his legs. Goulet kicks it back in. He had tried to get that one for Tracy. Gadet with possession out in the corner. Flips it high and outside the zone. Obey has to rush. Bishop's right behind him. Bishop trying to lift his stick. Bishop with possession out for Miller. Toe drag, release, gloved, and a rebound turned away and sent wide. Tracy Morrison, one-timer. Miller, and that one's over the net. Bishop again, waiting up towards the ringette line. Passing through, that one poked by the stick of Cole. Goulet getting it back, seeing Bryony. That pass a bit too far in front of him for him to corral it. Tracy stepping in, it's Saunders. Jamming it along the boards. Miller pass to the middle, taken by Cole. Cole waits, hit from Saunders, hit again. And the Highlanders would take it outside the zone. Moving in, Miller winds up for a slap shot, save, and the rebound was just at the side of the cage. Knights clear it out. This one not going to go for icing, so an ideal time for Moncton High to get some changes off. Saunders being chased by Gillis. To the middle, taken by Vale, and he is steamrolled by Thomas Keenan. Harris stepping in, sharp angle shot. Nothing doing on that one, and we have a penalty coming up against the Highlanders, and it will be Thomas Keenan off for a charge. So the Purple Knights will see their first power play opportunity. So Purple Knights get their first try on the man advantage coming later in the second period. Harris across, Bryony. Back up for Harris, top of the line, back for Bryony, across Tracy along the right, waits it, shoots, scores! Max Tracy on the man advantage. And the first 2-goal lead of the night, and it goes to the Purple Knights. And that's Tracy from Bryony and Harris at 4:41 of period 2, making that one on the man advantage. Tracy just picking that top corner. Cole stepping in. He has Baini with him. Cole with a shot. Saved by Louis. And he'll make no mistake in covering it.
Purple Knights' 7th goal scored by number 14, Max Tracy, assisted by number 19, Zach Biani, and number 17, Campbell Harris. A power play goal, time of the goal 4 minutes, 41 seconds of the second period.
Tracy winning the draw. Biani waits, is in trouble, tries to go along the boards, sent back up by Constable. Battling with Biani and Tracy. It's Tracy, victorious. Looked like he had tried to miss again in that one. Also unsuccessful, unable to get it on his stick. Cole behind the net. Passes up for Harris. Harris has a lane. Goes back door trying to get the one over for Cole. And that just never connected. Harris throwing it back into the zone. Constable stepping in. There's a shot. Got in between the legs of Harris. Harris having to evade his own teammate falling. There's a shot saved by a bear. Waiting is Obe. He'll hit it off the boards. And this one looks to be going for icing. Slowing down. And we'll just get there. Got less than 4 minutes. It's the Purple Knights and the Highlanders on the Moncton High Sports YouTube channel. Brought to you by MST. Moving out is Kervin. A little flip pass by Annie. Sent across, Beal stepping in on Saunders. Saunders getting the best of him. Now he gets pinned up against the boards by Annie. Harris may have a lane. Trying to get that back door for Kervin. There's Beal. Passing to the middle. Brandon Warner trying to get a shot off. And that one thwarted by Saunders. Saunders left for Miller. Miller winds in. Pass through Harris. Taken away by Obe and sent to Kervin. Kervin through the legs of Saunders. He's in, maybe a 2-on-1. Kervin with a shot, scores! Ethan Kervin going over the glove side of Mason Louis. And that's now an 8-5 lead in favor of Moncton High. That'll be Ethan Kervin's 4th of the year. And we'll see who will get the helpers with it. Beal stepping in, trying to get that one over for Kervin. Shot back, Highlanders leave their zone. Pass rink wide, and stepping in is Caleb Thomas. Thomas stepping in with a shot, blocked by Goulet. Thomas again with it. Holston at the blue line, the shot patted away safely by a bear. Big crunch from Warner on Schwanier. Obe with possession, sending it rink wide for Reed. Cole stepping in along the left, working his way past Holston. Trying a little windmill deke behind the net of Schwanier. Schwanier works his way outside the zone at the blue line. Across for Constable. Waits just past the red line. Goes across. Stepping in is Nate Mann. He has a shot. And that one's into the chest of a bear. So that last Moncton High goal at 3:05. It's Kervin from Warner. So a lot of goals in this game, and that was to be expected. Judging by the games that Moncton High and Bernice MacNaughton have had together, they have been all high scoring, usually involving over 15 goals. There's Tracy trying to send that one for Bayani, and just missing that backdoor pass. Tracy making a move past Bishop. Tracy, Bayani backdoor. The shot is just wide. Bayani trying to jam it in front. There's another chance. And here's Saunders. Stepping his way out. Saunders and Bishop, maybe a 2-on-1. Saunders in with a shot. Blocker and hit by the shoulder of a bear. And he had been looking behind him. He doesn't know where it is. It's in his equipment somewhere. And it's in his blocker. So not much past 1.5. Left in our second frame of play. I'd like to thank the current 43 watching along with us in the last game of the regular season between the Moncton High Purple Knights and the Bernice MacNaughton Highlanders. DNA Swag Cup playoffs coming tomorrow night on this very same channel between the Moncton High Purple Knights and the Harrison Trimble Trojans. A one-game take-all. Cleared into the Highlanders zone. This one not going to go for icing. Called off last second. Constable trying to find it in the feet of the official. Sent for Morrison. Kept in by the skate of Harris. Trying to move in. Taken away by Bishop. Miller. Perfect pass to Bishop's backhand. Being chased by Harris. There's a shot. That one easily trackable by a Bear. Another shot from Miller that misses the net. Constable keeping it in at the right blue line. Shot in, glove down by Harris. Pass through center. Skating up with it is Curvin. That's Gillis rather. Making a move. Gillis to Vale. One-timer over the net it goes. Curvin out in front. Looking for a rebound. Jamming at his Gillis. There's Vale with a chance that ends up missing the net. Puck loose side of the net. It's on the net. And the ref will whistle it down. Purple Knights unsuccessful on the draw. That's a pass up from Thomas that ends up in the feet of Goulet, not knowing where it is. Thomas trying to swing it and grab it. Man, his rush stopped by Brandon Warner. Thomas regaining possession, pinned up by Goulet. Warner and Man in there helping each other. It's Man winning the draw, one-timer. And that one sent up, will hit off the top of the glass and stay in. Nate Mann. Pass across. They got less than 10 seconds left. Backdoor trying to get that one over for Chouanier. Another backdoor attempt for Thomas. And that will end our second period.
At the end of 2 periods of play, Purple Knights 8, Highlanders 5.
It's 8-5 Moncton High. The goals this period. Got a long list of them. It started man of the Highlanders by Annie. Then Miller, Cole, Tracy, and Curvin, ending with 3 consecutive straight goals for Moncton High. Be back 10 minutes time, third period. Knights, Highlanders, brought to you by MST. Keenan trying to backhand that out in front. It's Beal slipping before he takes possession. Goulet laying up a hit. Daigle that clears it into the zone of the Highlanders. Now giving him a chance for the Purple Knights to make some changes. Vale out in the zone, waits, looks, shoots towards the net. Number 20, Jake Osborne. Another quick shot denied. Bernice MacNaughton may have a rush. Here's Thomas on a break, being chased by Harris. Too far out in front of him. Woods behind the net. Clear around, trying to get one over for Curvin. Still blocked in. Gillis giving it right over to Man who shoots. That one's blocked by Thomas. Daigle trying to work it up to the blue line. There's Murray, attempted shot. That one didn't get all the way through. Beal behind that being chased. It's right out in front, loose right now. Didn't look like anyone knew where it was. Osborne trying to find him behind the net. It's Beal in the corner. Up for Murray. Left point. Shooting. Score! Nothing. Purple Knights in this game. Goulet skates back towards center. Pass tipped and taken away by Owen McCluskey. McCluskey bringing it in with a shot. And that one in it. Knights make their way out of the zone. A rink wide pass for Beal. Sent back rink wide. Brandon Warner just losing his feet. Turn around. Here's Beal backhander and just missed. Chance pass trying to go cut to the middle. That one poked away by Goulet and cleared in by Daigle. Highlanders regroup in their own zone. It's good at sending it along the boards. Here's Beal waiting. Constable for Thomas. Accelerating through center. Thomas enters in along the line. Fires to the line. Waits. Sends it back up for Constable. Heads to the center with a shot. Redirected. Saved. Rebound. Killed off so far. Here's Thomas. Right boards. Sent across. Constable waits. Goes back door. Miller one-timer to the blue line. Back for McCluskey. McCluskey at the line. Puts it behind the net. There's Harris going to go battling up with Keenan. Connor Keenan thrown it for one-timer. They on their heels. Curvin to Vale. Poked loose. Curvin with another shot. Turned away. Rebound. Gillis trying to throwing it behind the net. Here's Harris rushing behind the net. Saunders Up with Vale, trying to leave that off for McCluskey. In Biney with a shot, and that one blocked before it could get there. There's Gillis with a shot. Up with Vale, trying to leave that off for McCluskey. In Biney with a shot, and that one blocked before it could get there. There's Gillis with a shot off the post. The rebound, they score. Vale is going to get the Purple Knights back in the lead. Moving up with speed, Liam Bishop curls around Obe. Liam Bishop in alone, the shot, he scores. Moncton high goal, it's Vale from Gillis. And the Highlanders, it's Bishop again. There's Miller with a shot that had deflected up, accelerating, making his way through center. Nate Mann in past Gillis with the shot turned away by Rylan Obey. One-timer dump in. They'll be turned away by the pad of Mason Louis. Purple Knights still with it. There's a sharp angle shot turned away by Thomas Keenan. There's Vale sending up to the blue line. Across, Harris waits and shoots. That one hit off Vale of the Purple Knights. Osborne in the battle. Vale sending that one in front. No one there to tuck it home. Cole shot from the blue line. Score of this first period. Tracy in the corner, stepping up towards the ringette line, cutting to the center. Tracy waiting, maneuvering around Bishop. The shot gloved by Bishop. Quickly takes it and zooms with it across in the draw. Bishop in along Goulet, skates by him, throws it out in front. The shot, they skipping out is Draven Miller. He goes up against Woods. Now going for Harris, drop pass. Bishop with the shot turned away. Beenan rather. Harris passing that one up for Cole. Set to the middle. In all alone, Biney. Score! And Goulet plays defense successfully and almost turns it over. Again, there's Tran picking up a loose puck where he's Gillis. Moves it outside the line of the Purple Knights. Gillis steps in, evades a hit of Thomas Keenan. Gillis behind the net, throwing that out in front. There's Kerman with it. And currently 47 watching live on this late Sunday night. Biney speeds past Olston. Stepping up on Constable as Cole with him. Sends it to Cole and just And third period of action about to get started. A quick conversation with the officials. Max, Tracy, and Ethan Kervin getting a bit of warm-up, doing a quick lap before the period. And here we go. Hopefully Puddle's not hindering any performance. There's man with trying to get a pass, and he's denied by a Puddle in the ice. And icing, surprisingly, Puddle's not blocking anything. Face off to the left of a Bear. Taken by Schwanier and Tracy, won by Schwanier. Clear back in by Constable. It's Thomas and Goulet. Thomas victorious in the battle, winning in the corner. Trying to send that back door, poked away by Cole. Taken by Obe. Trying to lay it past to Cole, turning around as Nate Mann. Losing it in the puddle and forcing it to go behind the net. Schwanier trying to send that out in front, taken by Tracy. Losing in a couple puddles and sending a saucer pass, trying to get that over for Cole. Blocked on the body of Constable. Losing it in a puddle. Puck again, stopping it's Cole. Sending it back for Obe. Across Goulet. Sent right to Cole, tape to tape. Losing in the puddle, almost going offside. Turning around and clearing it in. Holston and Vale going to meet out in the corner. It's Vale extending the stick to get it by him. Cleared around for Constable in the corner. Constable out to the red line, bringing it back in is Kervin. Kervin working in, lost in a puddle, back for Kervin. The shot turned away by Louis. Another shot. Where is it? Still knocking around in the corner. Rimmed around the net. Harris keeping it in. Constable up with Gillis. It's Constable moving his way around the net, then turning it over. Here's Vale. Trying to find a loose puddle out in the corner. Highlanders shoot it out. It's Bishop. Working his way in against the defenseman. Bishop against Woods. Curling back. Now scans for his options. Sends it out. Gadet trying to get a shot off, and it's turned around by Miller and missing the net. Duguay unable to hold the line. Shot out. Brandon Warner up against Bishop. Cleared into the zone behind the net. Gadet. Rimmed along the boards. Flipped out by Bishop. That one goes over Harris. There's Miller chasing after it. So is Woods. It's Woods turned on the Jets and going around the net. Woods a pass trying to get that one over for Daigle. Banked against the boards, and icing will be the call. Highlanders off the draw. Shot deflected and wide of the net it goes. Beal at the hash marks to the middle for Daigle. Sent high in the air. There's Warner with it. Brandon Warner stepping in a shot. Forked away by Louis with his stick. Daigle across for Beal against the boards. Swooping in to take it away is Connor Keenan. Keenan working his way in a drop pass. Trying to get that one over for Osborne. It's Harris stepping in a stretch pass. It works. Working in is Tracy. The shot is turned away by the glove of Louis. A wraparound chance by Tracy. Again, not connecting. A pass that was intended for Connor Keenan going all the way down the ice. So the Highlanders unable to change. So shots on net after the second. 30-29 in favor of Moncton High School. Off the draw, it's put behind the net. Constable waiting in the corner, skating up. Still going as he has some room. Moving around Goulet. Constable still with it. Waiting around the net, throwing that out in front. And right there was Connor Keenan and just couldn't quite tap it home. Bayani skating through center, making a nice move. Now trying to lift the stick of Keenan. It's shot back for Goulet. Goulet skating back in his own end. Around the net he goes. Pass up, it's off the skate of Bayani. Sent to the middle. Trying to get that one over for Vale. It's across on the right. Daigle. Back for Goulet. Goulet up for Cole, and that taps off his stick. Will be deflected down for icing. Off the draw, Goulet waiting, trying to throw that one up. It's knocked down by Vale, but kept him at the line. It's Vale putting it through the legs of Gadet. Still stepping up with it. It's Curvin shoving off Thomas. Keenan Gadet quickly turns around and makes his way up the left side. Gadet still in with it, curls, cuts back, waits at the line, and is upended by Harris. Harris with Gillis. Behind him is Vale. Sends it to Vale, one-timer, and wide right of the net. Thomas across the line. Thomas winding in, waits and shoots, scores! And it's Caleb Thomas that cuts to a bit of a sharp angle and puts it to the top shelf. And that is going to be Thomas's first of the game. It looks like it's going to go unassisted. So it's Caleb Thomas at 15-35. Unassisted, making it 8-6. Cleared back in by Holston. Deflected off the boots of Harris and from Murray. Murray trying to shoot up out of the reach of Gillis. Behind the net, it's Daigle going up against Holston. Daigle with possession, trying to put it behind him. Loose puck to the side of the net. Daigle throwing it out in front. Here's Morrison. Skiing it with speed past the red line, leaving that off for Bishop. Bishop winds in, passes to Miller, and that was just behind him. Miller had a wide open net if that pass had connected. Brandon Warner in with a shot off the skate of Louis. Warner in the corner, banks himself up against the boards. Works way around the net, wraparound attempt, and Louise is there. Off the draw, Obey with a shot. That one had taken a redirection and gone wide of the net. Brandon Warner crossing the boards. Here's McCluskey bringing it out. This one it will be out of his reach and sent cross rink wide by Goulet. Woods shooting it up. Almost deflected by Brandon Warner. They're saying he did get a stick on it. Saunders emerges from his own cage, pass through center. That one been tipped. Tracy going down with Saunders in and around the net. Tracy working his way up the boards with it. Then chucks it back behind the net where they were previously battling. There's Beal throwing it up against the wall. Biani behind the net. Against the wall. It's hit by Saunders and gives him a bit of a reverse hit with it. Sent to the middle. It's McCluskey working his way up. Obey tried to put it through the legs of Tran. Biani is hit from behind by Owen McCluskey. Not looking out for the hit and gets steamrolled. Tracy stepping his way outside the zone. That one behind Biani. Trying to hit Chouanier. McCluskey hit up along the boards. This one delayed icing. And first there's man out in front. There's a backhander from Gadet. And that one taken away by a Bear. Close chances from the Highlanders. They were down by 3 to start this period. Louis has gone to the bench. And it looks like he had some equipment problems. Will re-enter the net, and timeout's going to be charged against Bernice MacNaughton. Louis looks like he has some problems with his pad. And we'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Timeout. Highlanders. This will be 30-second timeout.
And here we go. Louis looks all fixed up with his equipment. Roomed around, it's Harris. Thomas works his way up the wall, tried to send it to Mann, and that one went in between his legs and outside the zone. Constable for Mann. That one under his stick, Vale. Harris tried to quickly turn around Gillis. Stepping his way up on Chouanier. Tried to center out in the middle, taken away by Mann. Thomas stepping in, waiting. Opening his stance, going around the net, still with it out in the corner. To the blue line, Constable. Thomas again, had faked the shot and put it along against the boards. Mann backhanded, stopped by Chouanier, then sent back up against the wall. Curvin sent it against the boards. This one not going to go for an icing. It's Constable. They are for the Highlanders. He steps up through center, passing over for Mann. Mann walks in with a shot over the cage. Constable around the net. Outside the zone is Holston. Cleared in behind the net is Harris. Harris waits, passes off for Beal. Beal tries to accelerate through center, gets by Constable. Now in the corner, he's up with Duguay. Behind the net, Brandon Warner looking out in front. Here's Harris stepping in with a shot, and that one's missing the net. Miller waits from his own zone. Pass that it went behind. Gadet will end up all the way down the ice for icing against Bernice MacNaughton. Purple Knights cleared back in the zone. Highlanders trying to step it out. It's Duguay leaving that one off for Bishop. Bishop into the zone. Obey behind the net. Sending it up for Daigle. Daigle trying to send that one over for Warner. Purple Knights are offside. Cole still in the zone. Has to quickly turn back. Highlanders now with a chance to clear. It's Miller. Paving his way through center. Making a nice move. Miller moving in with a shot. Missing left of the net. Bishop in the corner, trying to move his way up the wall. Pass in the middle, Gadet. Shot back in, blocked by Goulet and sent rink wide for Cole. Cole the toe drag, still with it. Cole trying to send it back door, and that one denied by Duguay. Duguay with it around the net. Shot past Tracy and for Bishop. To the middle for Miller. Send between the legs of Bayani, and Tracy's in to grab it. Taking it away is Miller. Miller flipped through the middle. Working in is Tracy, but it's a hand pass. Holston moving back in the Highlanders zone, banking up the boards, trying to get that to McCluskey. Going back for Goulet. Goulet soft dish off for Tracy. He's denied by McCluskey. Skating back is Reed Cole. Going over the center ice dot. Moving his way by Osborne and leaving it off for Connor Keenan. Pass up Osborne. Poked away. Now moving it up on Obey is Keenan. Connor Keenan into the zone, and he tried to jump over Goulet. Bayani up against Owen McCluskey, moving his way out is Goulet, shoving men off left and right. Still in with it is Tracy. Tracy stepping up, and he's rocked, and there's going to be a penalty up against Bernice MacNaughton. In to touch it is Owen McCluskey, and it's going to be head contact against Connor Keenan. Only question whether it's a 2 or a 4. And it's going to be 4 minutes. So the Purple Knights now with a massive opportunity to get on the board and get some insurance in the second half of this third period. Not a very eventful third period judging by the first and second that we've had only a goal and a penalty. That one coming from Caleb Thomas about 5 minutes earlier at 15:36. Bayani steaming through center. Into the zone, trying to drop that one off for Cole. But right behind him is Caleb Thomas. Harris for Tracy. Tracy stepping through center, working his way left, coming back to the middle of the shot. Denied by the mask of Louis. Off the draw, Bayani trying to find it behind him. It goes outside the zone. Leaves that off for Harris. Harris back to Bayani. Trying to move in on Constable, and it's Constable fending off the puck before it's brought back for Harris. Across for Tracy at the own Moncton High blue line. Tracy curling back into his own end. Now needs to skate into the zone with speed. Tracy moving through the center. Tracy now losing the puck for Saunders. Clear outside the zone, kicked in by Harris. And the faceoff will now go back to the Moncton High end. Harris just trying to get a stick on it. And the refs discussing out something near the penalty box. And Harris is heading to the box. Unsure why. Nothing had happened between the whistle and going down to the other side of the ice. And is Harris getting ejected out of this game? Another Moncton High player had stepped on the ice, so it may be a 10-minute misconduct. Must have been something that was said, but Harris will not be returning for this game. Unsure what exactly was said. Did not hear anything from up here. Moving his way back up. Bayani stepping up past Saunders. Bayani working his way around the net. Goulet to Bayani between his feet. Sending it off for Harris. Pass up, trying to get that one over for Goulet over the middle. Purple Knights still battling for the puck. It's Reed, Cole, and Vale. Trying to bring it out is Constable. Brought out to just outside the blue line. The Purple Knights quickly rushing back the other way. Cole stepping inside of the net. The shot turned away by Louis and covered. Purple Knights say it's in.
Bernice defeats LJR 2-1 to take home the Moncton Cup. In the boys league playoffs, LJR defeats Moncton 3-1 to take a 2-1 series lead in the best of 5 series.
And again, unclear from our camera angle if it had gone in or not. But regardless, they call it off, no goal. Goulet across, Obe stepping up, shooting, and that one blocked out in front. Sharp angle and sent wide. Morrison on his backhand. Moves way to his forehand and outside the zone will go. Bishop sending in. Bishop all alone to his backhand between the legs. Scores! Between the legs, bar down, Liam Bishop. And he scores short-handed, making it 8-7 now. And now this game is a 1-goal difference. Face off won by Moncton High. They still have just less than 2 minutes left to go on the man advantage. Goulet
Highlanders
sends
second
across.
his second of the game.
Tracy drop pass by Annie.
Number 17.
Bryony stepping in, may have some room. Bryony the shot blocked by Cole, and he's down.
A short-handed goal, time of the goal. 7 minutes, 34 seconds of the third period.
Cole looks to be fine, just shaken up. Getting the shot on the inside of the leg, but he'll go to the bench. So stepping up on the ice is Ethan Curvin. And Tracy should be getting ejected out of this draw. He will. Bayani in to replace him. Face-off won by the Highlanders. It's Constable moving his way behind the net. Banked off the boards for Owen McCluskey. That one redirected for Goulet. Soft pass for Tracy. Across for Woods through the middle. It's Bayani working his way in. What a move. Bayani trying to tuck it in. And that one just didn't go. Cleared out. It looked like it hit something or someone on the bench. Linesman looking confused himself.
A correction on the Highlanders' second goal. The assist was by number 7, Chase Morrison.
So in the Highlanders' latest goal, it's Bishop from Morrison, 7:34, shorthanded. That brings this game within 1. Goulet finding in between his feet. Across for Woods, back for Goulet off his skate. Cole stepping in. There's a pass back door trying to find that Bayani, and that was just a bit too hard. Bayani was flying into the boards. Puck's being rimmed. He happens to be right there. Bayani down for Cole around the net. On his back end, trying to send that up for Bayani. Redirected right in front. McCluskey off the boards. Woods at the blue line. Sent in. That one's right for one. McCluskey will make no mistake clearing that down. And so far, a pretty bad power play for Moncton High, giving up a short-handed goal and no goals to go with it. Tracy working his way in, moving around one, getting him on his forehand and going back to the blue line. Tracy waiting, sending one behind the back for Woods. Woods stepping in. Bayani on the left. Bayani for Goulet. Over for Woods. Penalty almost over for Keenan. A shot that never had gone its way through. Woods now, that's Keenan now out of the box. A shot blocked and sent out of play. So an offensive zone draw for Moncton High. Less than 6 to go in a game that is now within 1 goal. That Moncton High had been carrying the momentum for basically the entire game. Here's man for Thomas, left off, trying to get that one for Gadet. Gadet, man, moving his way behind the Moncton High cage. Man around for Murray. Flipped out corner. Obey trying to send that one in the middle for Gillis. It's knocked off a Highlander and down the ice. Schwanier along the right. Sent back for Obey. Cleared across, trying to get that one over for Murray, who clears it out of the zone. Stepping back in was good at before he was poked away by Gillis and shot back in by Thomas. In his own zone, it's Murray. Trying to shoot one up. That one barely hops over the stick of Thomas, and it's Curvin flipping it in, caught by Louis. He'll leave it out of his glove for Saunders. Saunders against the boards. Thomas capturing it at the red line. Drop pass, man. Trying to step in past Cole, barely keeping possession. Nate Mann in with it, waiting. Still waiting, leaving that off for Gadet, but that one's taken away by Reed Cole. Potential 2-on-1 with Bayani. Reed Cole in. Sent across for Biani, and that one's blocked. Superb defending by Thomas. A shot from Goulet that was blocked out by Cole. He had almost got his own rebound. Miller stepping outside the zone. Continue up with speed. Tracy playing some defense, poking it away. That one turned away by the pad of a Bear in the net. Cole trying to throw that out to the middle for Tracy. Across for Holston. It's Holston in the corner. Sending that one up to the boards. Bishop trying to throw that one away to the middle. Will now be Moncton High possession of the puck. Goulet. A pass turned over. Here's Bishop in the zone. To the middle. Miller, the shot, scores! And the Highlanders have tied this one up by being down 8-5. Coming into the third period, they have now tied it up 8-8. It's going to be Draven Miller with his second of this late night. Now we'll tie this game up at 3:44 rather. Pass up intended for Daigle. Misses. That's an icing. We'll see who exactly gets the assist. Bishop's going to be one of them. It's going to be Miller from Bishop and Duguay at 3:44. Miller battling in the draw. One out by Warner. There's Beal to swing in and pick it up. Alex Beal stepping in across the blue line. Tried to put it in between the feet of Constable, and he has a hard defenseman to dangle out. Banked off the boards for Miller into the zone. Bishop's offside. Off the draw at center ice. Cleared in by Gaudette. Murray throwing it outside the zone. A bouncing puck taken away. Here's Zach Biani. Moving his way in. Trying to get past Saunders in between his legs. Saunders banked along the boards. Here's Woods rushing to keep it. Shot back in by Reed Cole. Now battling up against Gaudette. Reed Cole with it. Attempting to shoot out to center. Cleared along the boards. Man. Moving past Tracy, now gets across Biani. Nate Mann still in with it. Moving in on Murray. Nate Mann stepping in. Sharp angle thrown out in front. And that one taken away by Tracy. 2.5 left in this period. Tracy, Cole waiting, shooting, and he lifts it high and left. Shot back in. The Highlanders move it out. Was Schwanier Biani. In with Gaudette behind the net. Gaudette Rindle on the glass, and that one getting past Easton Woods. Woods stepping outside the zone, passing over for Curvin, who lightly taps into the zone. Tran leaving it behind for Constable. That pass between the legs of Connor Keenan. Trying to make a move was Goulet. There's Keenan stealing. Keenan in. Sharp angle pass, and that it ramped off the pad and stick of a Bear. Gillis moving outside the zone. McCluskey moving in on the blue line. Owen McCluskey in, shooting. It'll be going behind the net off the bounce from the boards. Big collision. There's Goulet being sent down to the ground. Connor Keenan sending that out in front. Goulet trying to pass that one over for Curvin. It's kept in by the Highlanders. Keenan, McCluskey, the shot over the net. Holston unable to keep it in. Across for Constable. Constable steps in across Vale. Constable stops, is hit into the boards and stumbles to his knees. Tran sliding down on one knee to keep the line. Connor Keenan back in past both of them. Goulet across for Woods. Woods sending it along the wall and outside the zone. Woods, now it'll be touched up by McCluskey with 47 to go exactly. We're going to have a face-off in the Highlanders zone. This could be big for Moncton High. Kept in, moving his way to the net was Tracy and unable to get a shot off. Attempting to keep the zone was Daigle. Shot back in by Murray. Cole leaving that off for Biney and was poked off. Cole stepping in along the blue line. Cole still with possession, trying to go for Biney. Biney, the shot turned away by Louis. Here's Daigle up against the boards. Being tied up by the stick of Bishop. Miller moving his way back, backhanded in. Obey, there's a shot, they score! The Highlanders take a 9-8 lead with 14 to go. It's Ben Constable finding a loose puck out in front off a tie-up from Obey. And it's 9-8 Highlanders. What a game. Moncton High had been up 8-5 after period 2. And what a battle back from the Highlanders to take a 9-8 victory heading into playoff season. So the recap for the goals in this third period, it's 4 for MacNaughton. It's Thomas, Bishop, Miller, and Constable. And that ends our game. It's 9-8 in favor of the Highlanders, and we hope to be seeing you tomorrow. It's the Knights and the Trojans, 7:45 at the Fourplex, again being live streamed on our channel. And that is it for tonight. We wish you a good night from the Moncton Coliseum in downtown Moncton.